You know, sometimes when the house is quiet and the evening sun comes through my window just the way it used to, my mind drifts back to a different time, a gentler time, a slower, softer America. I'm 78 years old now, and even after all these years, there are moments from my childhood in the 1950s that feel as close to me as the beat of my own heart. Tonight, I want to take you back with me, back to the days when life tasted different, when summers felt endless, and when family meant everything. So sit with me for a while. Let me tell you about my childhood, the way I remember it. I grew up on a quiet little street, the kind of street where everyone knew everyone, and every front porch had its own story. Our house wasn't big, just a small white house with blue shutters and a front lawn that my father tried his very best to keep green. But to me, it was the whole world. I remember the sound of the screen door, that soft creak-click, every time it opened. Mom used to say she could recognize who walked in just by the sound of their footsteps. In those days, children didn't stay inside. We lived outdoors. We ran, we played, we scraped our knees and didn't cry about it. There was an old oak tree at the end of our street, huge, tall, older than all of us. On windy days, its branches whispered, and my mother called it God's gentle voice. Even now, if I close my eyes, I can hear it. Mornings in a 1950s home had a certain smell, not perfume, not air fresheners, just life. The smell of coffee percolating on the stove, the crackling sound of bacon in a pan, the soft hum of the radio in the background, usually playing the morning news or some cheerful tune. My father always woke up before everyone else. He'd sit at the kitchen table, reading the newspaper like it held the secrets of the universe. Mom would tie her apron, brush a stray curl behind her ear, and kiss the top of his head before starting breakfast. Kids today will never understand this, but breakfast was a family thing. Nobody rushed. Nobody ate alone. We sat down together, even if it was for 10 minutes, and those 10 minutes meant something. School days. My school was just 5 blocks away, and every morning I walked with the same group of kids. Back then, children walked. Rain, snow, sunshine didn't matter. We walked. We talked. We laughed. Teachers were strict, but they cared. They knew your name, your parents' names, your siblings' names, sometimes even your grandparents' names. We learned handwriting with real ink pens. Math was done on chalkboards. And if you talked too much, your teacher didn't mind tapping her ruler on your desk as a reminder. But what I remember most are the tiny things. The chalk dust in the air, the smell of old books, the sound of kids shuffling their feet when the bell rang. We didn't have phones. We didn't have distractions. We only had each other, and that was enough. My mother's love. She was the heart of our home, a quiet woman, but strong in ways words can't explain. She made everything by hand. Our dresses, our lunches, our holidays. I still remember her hands, gentle, yet always busy, peeling apples, sewing buttons, smoothing my hair when I cried. Sometimes in the afternoons, she'd sit near the window with her sewing machine, the light hitting her face just right, and she'd hum these soft little tunes. Whenever I had a bad day at school, I'd come home and sit beside her. She never asked too many questions. She just placed her hand on mine and said, "This too shall pass, darling." And somehow, it always did. Sundays, family, and faith. Sundays were sacred in the 1950s, not in a strict way, in a peaceful way. We dressed up in our best clothes and walked to church as a family. Mom's perfume mixed with the fresh morning air, Dad's polished shoes tapping the sidewalk rhythmically. After church, the whole neighborhood felt alive. Kids played in the yard, women prepared big meals, men sat on porches talking about work or the weather or absolutely nothing at all. Then came Sunday dinners, pot roast, mashed potatoes, green beans, biscuits, the whole spread. There was laughter, there were stories, there was togetherness that today's world rarely sees. Summer memories that never faded. Summers. If childhood had a season, it would be summer. Bare feet on warm grass, the smell of sunscreen, lemonade that never tasted as good again, fireflies glowing in the evening sky like tiny floating stars. We'd ride our bikes until our legs hurt. We'd chase each other through sprinklers. We'd lie on the sidewalk, looking for shapes in the clouds. At night, the world felt magical. Crickets chirping, a cool breeze drifting through open windows, and Mom calling us in just as it got dark. And on some nights, Dad would take us all out for ice cream. Not in the car, we walked. Everything felt closer back then. The world was big, but our hearts were bigger. The first time I understood change. One autumn, when I was about 10, I remember sitting on our porch watching the leaves fall. My grandmother, my mother's mother, was visiting. She sat beside me, rocking gently in her wooden chair. Out of nowhere, she said, "Sweetheart, nothing stays the same. Not the trees, not the seasons, not even you." At the time, I didn't understand, but as I grew up, those words stayed with me. Change is the one promise life keeps. The 1950s taught me that happiness lives in small things, that family is not perfect, but it's precious, that love is quiet more often than loud, that life doesn't need to move fast to be meaningful, and most of all, that memories are the only things time can never take away. Sometimes, late at night, I still think about those days. The porch, the oak tree, my mother humming by the window, the slow rhythm of life that shaped the person I became. I'm 78 now. I've lived a long life. I've seen the world change in ways my young mind could never have imagined. But the memories I carry from the 1950s, they're not just stories. They are pieces of who I am. Pieces I keep safe. Pieces I share with you. So that maybe, just maybe, a little bit of that old world can live on.